throw it. We're going to rely on our corners and our secondary who've come through time and time again, but they can't keep letting Aaron Jones run this down their face.
Fake it to him here. Love, back foot, has a man wide open, and it's going to be caught by Musgrave, racing towards the end zone. He is in. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Welcome back to Outcoach Sports Podcast. Got the whole new gang here. It's always a different combination, no matter how we put this together and so forth. So I'm going to let this guy introduce himself as Mr.
Nick.
You all know McLean.
How we doing, folks?
And I am Jason.
And if y'all don't know me by now, y'all done lost your damn mind. I'm Carl.
Y'all like me watching the videos. He's everywhere. He's world famous.
I am
Carl. You can look him up, figure out his last name.
I am county famous Carl. That's about all that I am. Or
Three county famous, though.
So we're here today to talk NFL. We're going to get into a historical segment with the NFL. We'll do that, kind of in between subjects here. So what do we want to cover here? Do we want to cover the preseason? Do we want to cover exactly like the divisions or
Well, then we're going
some of everything?
Well, we usually, as you know, we go off the record.
We always go off
We don't
script.
stay off track. You're right. We always go off script. There is no script.
Exactly.
Literally no script at all.
But the goal is to cover all, in a nutshell, all 32 NFL teams. We're not 1 through 32. We're going to look at it division by division. So AFC North, South, East. I know there's East, West, whatever. 1 through 4 in each division. And then we can talk about what we like from the preseason, what we think heading into the final preseason game, because it kicks off. Today is Thursday, August 22nd. So tonight we've got Bears, Chiefs, and Bengals, and I don't remember who.
And we have a trade that happened. Jahan Dotson got traded to Philly.
Just a couple hours ago. Yep.
And I don't understand it, but somebody understands it.
Somebody above us.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, somebody way above my pay grade made that trade and so forth. I think the Commanders are going to make another trade behind this. Could it be Ayuk? Could it be another receiver? Who knows? We're not going to break down everything about that trade because it's just
There was only so much to it.
Yeah.
I think if Ayuk is going to get moved, that deal's got to get done before the regular season.
Absolutely.
Before the Monday Night opener against Rodgers and the Jets.
But don't forget Ayuk and what is the new quarterback? Daniels. Basically, they trained together. They played together. So there's some symmetry there already. So he would just have to know the playbook and so forth. Mm-hmm. Not to cut you off, but go ahead.
No, you're good. So before we finally got back together, we've been off for a long minute. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we did do a video, but unfortunately we lost the video side of it. So we have the audio side, which we covered basically the NFL offseason. We did a full in-depth grades on the draft and trades, all that fun stuff. Yeah, but unfortunately, y'all don't get it because, well, we suck.
I sucked on that one because the video was corrupted. I had 2 new cameras, didn't read the instructions, and basically got audio and 10 minutes of video. And then good old CrowdStrike or whatever the hell they are kind of ruined everything else because I couldn't upload anything to Canvas. So we all know about that attack and so forth. But we're good now. Got a couple of cameras going here and so forth. We got this little mini ESPN and the defunct CNN. That's our edition of this. So. But anyway, which division you want to get into? What subject we're going to talk about here to blow these people's minds again like we do every time we're on here?
All right, well, I'm going to swing it over here to the left to the man who, by the way, can we appreciate the newly acquired? Let's hope that Jordan Love can repeat what he did in the back half of last season to start this year. Anyway, where do you want to start? What division do you want to start in? Give us that and we'll go. So I figure we'll go Well, you pick a division, and then you give us your 4 in that division and why, 1 through 4, and then we'll work our way down, and then you can pick the next division. Does that work for you?
That
Good.
sounds perfect
Works
to
for
me.
me.
All right.
I do think we should start off with the NFC North, like you're just saying, the Green Bay Packers,
Okay.
of course.
All right.
My number 4 team, I have to go with the Chicago Bears. Yeah, I had to toss up.
Really?
Had to toss up. I do. It's hard, but I just don't think it's going to be a really good division too. It's not going to be like 4-12 or 4-13, whatever the new numbers are. But I think the Bears are going to be barely last. I really, really, really do think so. I think Caleb's going to have a really wishy-washy year, and it's actually just like Jordan Love, where
Wow.
just where he's going to probably struggle in the first half, and then I think he's going to completely bounce back. And I love what the Bears did this offseason. Keenan Allen, of course, got DJ Moore and all that. I love what the Bears are doing. Something ain't clicking right with me, man. Something's. This is a really good division
Great
too.
and strong.
All right, but why?
Why the
Why
Bears?
are they at 4th?
I just think the Vikings are just a little bit better.
And who's going to play quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings?
Well, Sam Darnold, but guess what? He's done it before.
And you think they're going to win more games?
just a little bit?
Okay.
One game.
It's your spot.
Again, it's crazy.
Drink
It's
some water on that.
I think you-
blasphemy.
That is
I
blasphemy.
understand.
I think you're
But
full
I
of
like
shit.
it. I like it though because it's stirring it up.
I think it's terrible.
No
It's
disrespect.
terrible.
No disrespect to Bears
Oh,
fans.
disrespect. I am disrespectful.
Hold up. But every single year, they always win the offseason, just what they did a couple of years
Yeah,
ago.
that's true.
Last offseason, they're supposed to be this big dog
There are
every year.
questions about the offensive line. I'll give you
The
that.
offensive line is hot dookie,
It is
but
trash.
the defense is still really good. They got a top 10 unit. I just don't know with Caleb Williams yet, man.
Well, that's true. He hasn't
Just
played an
don't
NFL
know.
game, and you look at it. That was one way to look at it. And also, I think that sure there's excitement around the Bears, especially with the Hard Knocks on HBO. Give it a watch.
I've liked it so far for sure.
But you do make a good point. The excitement is there with Odunze and Keenan
Mhm.
Allen and DJ Moore, but I think they're a couple years away. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was basically it. That's my number 4 team. I really think they're going to be a really good 4 team.
Is the
Probably the
Vikings
best division.
What do
yeah.
you think the record's going to be at 4?
It's going to be like the worst set, probably 7-10, 8-9 for the Bears.
Okay. All
And
right.
the Vikings one game better, if
That's
anything.
fair. Okay. Right.
Nothing, like I said, nothing like 2-15.
Not the Panthers.
No, not the Panthers or the Patriots this year. So.
That is
Hey.
very, very interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Continue. So you've got the
Please.
Vikings at 3, I'm going to assume?
Yes, Vikings.
Okay,
Oh, I thought
alright.
we were going to go 4-4-4. Or
No. All 4,
Okay.
and then we'll go here, and then here, and then here.
And like I said, I've had a toss-up with, of course, the Vikings and the Bears, and I do think the Bears are going to finish last. So Vikings
Okay.
number 3, not much better. J.J. McCarthy now going down for the whole year, that's going to be tough.
He
But
sucked anyway.
I don't think he was going to start
He
regardless.
sucked.
So they got Aaron Jones. They still got.
Pretty boy.
I don't know what's up with you and JJ, but Jesus, man. I mean, I don't think McCarthy's going to be that bad, but still, I didn't.
Backstreet Boys, not an NFL field.
I didn't think he was going to start the year, but, of course,
Alright.
I still like the Vikings squad. They got Dallas Turner, the draft. Of course, they still got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. This offense is still pretty good. Now they got Aaron Jones, too. Remember, he's a little baller.
People who were getting about
If he's healthy, of course. Their O-line's still pretty good. Their defense still has some questions for sure. But I just think the Vikings are barely better than the Bears. That's
Okay.
it. And number 2, of course, I was talking to Nick about this on the way here. It's actually a tie for first place or second place, whatever. I got the Lions, the Packers, both finishing 12-5, but
Okay.
due to the tiebreakers, I got the Packers, of course, number 1. I got them both going 12-5, though. I think they're going to be both really, really good this year. It could be complete toss-up, 1-2. I can understand both sides for sure, but I just think the Packers will end up being number 1, Lions number 2. It's crazy is that the Lions have always been like never the top tier teams. Of course,
Yeah.
they were like the bottom of the league for so long. Now they're finally at the top. I don't know how they're going to react to that. The Lions have a really good team, of course. Their
Well, I can
defense
tell
is
you how
really
they're going
good.
to react to that. We'll get there.
Oh, Lions are going to be pissed. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, of course, take a little bit bias, too. I am a Packer fan, so I'm a Packer fan. I understand for sure the bias there, but I still really like the Lions. I got them making the playoffs for sure, but
And you think Jacobs can fill the hole that Jones left?
yes, I really do think
I
so.
think collectively Jones and Jacobs and Dylan together can fill that hole.
I'm not too high on Dylan for some reason. He's been so wishy-washy the last couple of years, but I do love the Jacobs signing. I mean, was it a little bit overpaid? maybe, but he was just a top freaking running back 2 years ago. And granted, he had a little bit of a down year last year, but then again, look at the whole Raiders team. You know, the Raiders were a complete joke of a freaking team last year. No O-line, no quarterback. Devontae and, you know, a couple of good wide receivers, but horrible O-line and no quarterback. So it was Jacobs, and that was it, basically. So he's kind of left for dead in Las Vegas. So I do like the Jacobs signing, but I really do like where the Packers are at this year.
Okay.
Younger, great, you know, new defensive coordinator. I think that's going to change a lot of things. Great wide receivers. You know, the youngest team in the NFL. Jordan Love's going to be just balling out this year. I'm really excited for the Packers this year. So
Who's Packers' number one wide receiver?
Probably Christian Watson.
Oh, God. Horrible answer.
Technically,
he sucks.
I don't think he's injury prone for sure.
Right.
But whenever he plays, he's freaking a ball hawk. You know, he's great.
He's fast. Not a great route runner.
Mm.
Jaden Reed's a better route runner than he is.
Jaden Reed, I love him. For
Dobbs
sure.
has better hands than he does.
Dobbs is for sure a great catcher too. They're all great wide receivers too, but I think on paper, probably Christian Watson is.
What's about paper?
That's what he's asked. Who's the number one? And I think
I don't
Christian
care about
Watson.
on paper.
That's just what it is, Christian
Fine.
Watson. And I love their wide receiver room too. I even love Wicks. He's a great number 4 wide receiver. You freaking kidding me? This Packers offense is going to be insane.
Someone's going to have to step
drinking
up,
the
man.
Kool-Aid for sure.
Right, but who do you think steps up to be the number one? Not on paper. Who do you think steps up to be the number one receiver?
I think
because
Wicks,
they need one.
Wicks for sure.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
you know he's like I said, the number 3.
It's either him or Dobbs.
Yeah,
You know, I just think the big body. Reed's more of that slot guy. You know, kind of the Randall Cobb type of role. Yeah. Okay, so you got Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit, Green Bay.
Yep, that's it. And you know, don't disrespect to the Bears or anything,
There's
but
disrespect.
it's just disrespect. It is the Bears for a reason. So I think it's gonna be a great division this year for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, very competitive division.
Now, I'll let you chime in where you kind of went back and forth. I'll just say this just for the fans out there. I think Minnesota's going to be at the bottom of the division because of the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All of the other stuff I agree with because the thing about Chicago is like it depends on how they start the year.
Yeah.
And if they come out a house of fire and people have to figure them out, they're going to have a letdown. But I kind of feel like if they keep the games competitive and they grow as the season gets along, they're going to be a tough out.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Detroit is a potential Super Bowl contender along with Green Bay. So that's going to be a hellified division there for anybody to face either one of those two in the playoffs and so forth. The thing with Detroit, they're fighting more than anything else. It's history.
Detroit.
Exactly.
Detroit's fighting Detroit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean,
All right.
when was the last time they really had a chance to go to the Super Bowl? 91. And that's going to be part of the historical segment that I'm talking about. I'm going to talk about that once we get there. Now, did you have anything to add to this division before we go on to
Yeah, I want to give my 4 through 1.
All about to say you guys got to go through your 1 through 4, but yeah.
I'm going to put it back on to
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, because you two was going back and forth.
I'm
so
sorry.
I'm
No, no.
Leave the floor for Nicky Poo here.
You be quiet.
Okay.
God almighty. If I had a zipper, I would have stitched on your leg just zip it for you.
Well, then nobody would be here to see the show. I can let the
Well,
show
you
up
got
tomorrow
fine,
afternoon.
Alright,
So-
for me, okay, my bottom 4, okay, like he said, Vikings, no doubt. I go with them 6 and 11. Just because of the fact that that rookie quarterback is out for a season for a torn meniscus, okay, and that other freaking quarterback, Sam Darnold, you know.
He's a
who-
pretty boy,
how-
too. He sucks.
So, you know how he's going to freaking
He's
play,
very
especially
good.
when he played with the freaking Panthers.
He was
You know what I
the
mean?
Jets, too, and bombing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a
No,
third
he's-
overall pick.
He
Yeah.
is a winner quarterback. I agree for sure.
He's dog water. More worried about his hair than throwing touchdowns.
And then, you know,
Alright.
and obviously, you know, they got a big upgrade on the halfback, Aaron Jones from the Green Bay, but that doesn't mean anything. You know, Aaron Jones can only do so much for that freaking offense, even Justin Jefferson. So I believe, just like you said, the quarterback issue will be the reason why that they're on the 4th seed. not fourth seed, but the fourth spot in that division.
Mhm.
And the Bears, I go with them at 8-9 on the third spot.
Mhm.
I think they're going to come out firing first maybe 3 or 4 weeks into the season.
Mhm.
And after that, they're going to be wishy-washy. Just because Caleb Williams, yeah, he's a good quarterback, but he still has a lot to learn just to get into freaking that league,
Mhm.
you know? So, for that being said, they're going to go 8-9. And for the second one, I'm going with the Packers going 10-7.
Okay.
I mean, yes, Jordan Love, he had a really good second half of the season last year.
Mhm.
Can he do it again?
But can he do it again?
All
Right.
the money now and the pressure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so for that, I go with them as number 2. And number 1 is Detroit Lions. Like you said,
Mhm.
there can be Super Bowl contenders along with 49ers and the Chiefs, and why not? You know what I mean?
The Ravens,
And the Ravens, right?
Mhm.
Jets.
So,
And Packers.
Yeah, that's quite a few. But that will narrow down once we get through the season and we start seeing
Oh, of
who
course.
does what.
yeah, so the Lions, just because of the fact that they have so much weapons on the offensive side, and now they got a couple of pieces for the defensive side, including Carlton Davis from the freaking Bucks, which is terrible, by the way.
You have too much I think you have too much faith in Carlton Davis.
I do, because I think he was a really good cornerback for us if he didn't get hurt that much, and you know,
Mhm.
and that type of stuff. So
I forgot about that.
I think with him being on Lions side of the freaking ball, I think there will be really good defense for the Lions.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you want to finish it up?
Well, what do you got?
I just brought what I just.
All right,
I mean,
all
like
right.
nobody listens to Carl anymore. I got all these people here, and it's like, well, fuck Carl. He's the DEI hire over here. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So first off, you suck.
Wow.
Wow.
But without question, Minnesota is 4th.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a good football team.
Right.
They have Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones, and that is it. They have nobody who can get those guys to football. They're not good.
Mhm.
3 is Chicago. Like you said, I think they're going to be in a lot of football games. They might not win a ton of football games
Right.
because of the inexperience.
Right.
But with the high level of talent,
Mm-hmm.
and then the guys who do have experience,
Mm-hmm.
for example, Keenan Allen,
Yes.
and then Jalen Johnson is the number 1 defensive back. Also,
Right.
like Cole Kmet, you're going to see take a step because he's finally got a quarterback who can throw him the football.
Exactly.
It could completely fall on their face, but I just don't see it. I think the culture has changed in
Exactly.
Chicago.
Exactly.
I'm putting Detroit at 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why is a lot of people didn't see what Detroit... Fine.
Go ahead.
Let me justify.
I love it so far. Keep talking.
Let me justify. A lot of people didn't see Detroit coming.
Right.
It's easy
Now you
when
got
you
a
catch them by
playbook.
surprise.
Exactly.
Everybody knows you're coming now.
Yeah.
I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is overrated.
Ooh, that's
I think Jordan Love is
He's
a better. I think Jordan Love is a better quarterback than Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The Lions are a good football team, but I think because people know they're coming,
Yeah.
and because it's Detroit, does anybody want to bring up what they did in the NFC title game last year? Oh, weren't they up 24-7.5 and they choked it away?
Yeah, that was.
They Detroited all
That was
over themselves.
Exactly.
So until they break that, they're going to do what Detroit does.
Right.
I think that Jordan Love is going to continue what he did last year. And the Packers are number 1.
Okay. Very good. What division we want to go over next?
Well, I think we should start with next division, the NFC South.
It's okay. Staying in the NFC.
Yep.
All right, okay.
Yeah. So when we go first.
Well, let's go from one of what we think is going to be one of the best divisions to what we think is going to be one of the worst divisions. Can we all agree with that? The NFC South is going to be dog water.
They're
Well, hold on. Let me think about it. Hold on. Let me think about it.
They're complete dog shit.
Okay.
And
All right.
it shouldn't take long to cover this one. So.
Go ahead. Fire it up, big boy.
Let's not make up shit. Just go
Let's
in
get
and talk
through it,
about
get
it
through
and get it over with.
All right,
We'll
well-
get done with.
My last team, I think we can all agree here, is the number 4, is the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, 2-15. They.
I
David
think
Canales ain't saving Young, Bryce Young.
I like what the Panthers did this offseason. They
I don't
had
like
a
what the
couple
Panthers
of nice signings on the offensive line. They traded away Brian Burns, which was a horrible move, by the way.
That's
But
what they
I
did
think-
best.
Yeah,
That's what they do best.
All right, so 4.
Yeah, so they're gonna be like a 4-win max team.
Terrible. They're terrible.
Number 3, I got New Orleans Saints.
Oh.
I just don't like where their location is. Well, not location.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
I don't like Derek Carr, man. I think he's always been so
He's an
overrated.
overrated QB.
And I don't
Agreed.
know.
No
I mean,
doubt.
Agreed. Well, we were saying that last year when he got signed $150 million and Baker only
oh,
got
you're a Saints
4.
fan?
I'm
Okay.
not a Saints fan at
Oh.
all.
No, last year
No,
we were saying.
Oh, I
when he
thought,
got
okay, I was about to
when
say
he
it.
got all that money last year. And
Oh,
Baker
okay,
got
okay.
4.
I apologize.
Right.
I apologize.
No, you good.
No, you good.
But, I mean, I like the little signing they have with Chase Young, but is he
It
even
doesn't
the
move the needle.
same?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, is
Okay.
he really
All
the
right.
same?
He's a good add-on
Okay.
piece.
How many wins you at 3? What do you think? Like 6 or 7?
Yeah, I was going to say 7 or 8.
Okay.
Max 8
Okay.
for the Saints.
All right.
I don't even know if Kamara is even the same. I mean, he's been kind of off the radar for the last couple of years.
I
All
see
right.
what you
And
mean.
2.
2, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
What?
Yep. Hold up. I like the Buccaneers team.
Oh,
I think they're going to
wait
be
a minute.
good.
Uh-huh.
But did they even really do anything during the offseason except extend Baker Mayfield, except re-sign Mike Evans? They didn't really do a
That's
lot
all
this
they need.
offseason. And they're a good team.
That's all they
I'm not
need.
saying they're a bad
They
team.
don't need anyone else.
I think the Bucs are going to be at most 10 wins this year, though. I think they're going to sneak in the playoffs barely. I do like what they did in the draft, though, with that guard. I can't think of his name. The center guard,
Oh,
the
the
first
center.
pick. Yeah, I love that pick for sure. I just...
Boy, he
I-
can't wait to jump down his
I
Can you see it, folks?
I just think that the Falcons...
Why you think nothing?
I just think...
You be getting on your knees on Kirk Cousins hard.
Well,
So we got Atlanta winning this division,
I
basically.
do.
Hold on.
I do think the Falcons are going to be winning this division.
Now, what-
Why? In what universe do you think that's acceptable?
Well, I mean... They
Explain yourself.
Just
Ex-
look at-
what have they done? Explain yourself. Besides
Well,
being one of the worst picks in the last 5 years.
They've been a
What have
pretty
you done?
good team before.
How many
It's
wins
not-
did they have last year?
Last year was dog water.
They suck.
Yeah, but they made a lot of
What
improvements.
did they do? What did they do?
Well, they got Kirk Cousins.
Okay, again, what did they do?
Aren't you loving this, folks?
Yeah, they got Matthew Judon, which is a great trade.
What did they do? That's one.
Then they got Justin Simmons.
But that doesn't count. He's dog shit.
I mean, I wouldn't
They don't have a quarterback.
Kirk Cousins.
You mean the guy who's only good
I mean-
Sundays before 7?
Okay,
Thursday night football, he sucks.
No, hey, well,
Saturday football, he sucks.
hey.
Monday night football, he sucks. He
I-
can't win a playoff game.
I think it's still a significant improvement from what they had last
Michael
year.
Penix is going to be better than him. He's coming off a torn Achilles.
Well, he's a fantasy stud, but Green.
I don't give a shit.
Pump the brakes a little bit.
No.
I'm not going to say Falcons are
I'm riled up.
I am not going to say the Falcons are #1 seed later.
I'm riled up.
I just think the Falcons are all in this year.
You're wrong.
Listen, Cowboys fans.
You are wrong. How many wins do you think the Falcons have?
Like 11.
Oh, God.
Yeah, 11-6 respectable.
No.
Wow.
Why not?
I'm yelling because he's horribly wrong.
I
He's
love their
horribly wrong.
defense.
I don't give a shit what you love. If I'm wrong, I will stand
I
here
love
and eat-
love.
I will eat my words if I am wrong, but I would they no.
Well, that's the
Finish.
thing.
I'll fit-
Wait, hold on. Before I say anything else, though, that's why I love doing the predictions because we get reaction like this. But we could be completely wrong. We could have.
No, you are.
Everybody
That could be. You are completely wrong.
How do you
we'll
know
look
that?
back at this video.
How do you
at the
know
end of
that?
the
I
season.
know.
We'll see where
Do
we're at.
you?
I do know.
You will know after this season.
Don't
But
you
I
know
love-
this? We brought it strong this time. Everybody's arguing.
Guess
It's like,
what?
what the fuck? What the hell? I don't believe it. But that's what you want.
That's a Colin Coward kind of take. It's horrible.
Man, he ain't that bad.
No. Finish out because
That's it. No, that's it.
I need to calm down.
Falcons 1, Bucks 2, Saints 3, Panthers 4. Falcons barely won division.
All right, go ahead.
I
Mr.
need a
Know-It-All,
moment. I need
go
a
ahead.
moment.
Well,
I know,
let
I need a
I
moment.
step in here.
I need a moment.
Ooh, okay. Let's see here. Carolina will be bottom feeders. They probably win 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
All right. I have Atlanta at number 3. Then I have the Saints at number 2 because they probably be middle of the road, maybe, anywhere between 7 to 10 games they could slip up and win because they're going to be in the games, but they're not world beaters. Derek Carr is just Derek Carr.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait, so you think the Falcons would be like a 5-win team? That's what you think the Falcons are gonna be, basically?
Falcons are not a good football
They-
team.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, I respect
They're
it.
not a good
Damn.
football team.
But
They're
see,
not good.
My thing of it is the Falcons made a lot of mistakes this offseason just by how they drafted,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how
I do agree
they
with that
put
for
their
sure.
They wasted
sure.
the age.
They-
Yeah.
just how they put that team together. To be honest with you, I just don't see it. I mean, maybe they'll shock me, and then you had to take it a year, and people out there that put money on what he said, they will be paid in full.
Don't put money on he said.
Look, we have the right to be wrong.
I have the right to be 100%
Man, I'm
correct.
not even 2 divisions in. I'm getting roasted over here. Jesus.
And he has the right to tell everybody to suck
He's got a
it.
right to
Right.
feed
You know
y'all
what I'm saying?
bullshit. He be feeding you the lies.
I think Tampa Bay is going to be one of those dark horse teams this year because a lot of people are overlooking them because of other
I
NFC
agree with
teams.
that 100%.
Because they could go and win a playoff game. They win the division. They already have a bye somewhere in there. You never know. They can wind up being on the other side of that NFC Championship. That's
That's
how.
why
Absolutely.
they were a drive away from making it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
absolutely.
So
correct.
that's why I can't overlook Tampa Bay at all. You know what I'm saying? But as in terms of Atlanta, they got a lot of work to do.
They do.
But I do see the Saints taking second place over Atlanta by at least 3 games. I mean, the Saints are bad, but they're not terrible. So
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
that's just my take. I mean, you got anything, or you ready to jump in? Let's go to
Let's go to
Nick.
Nick.
We'll jump back into McClain when he calms down a little bit.
Well, like you both said earlier, Panthers, they're obviously going to be bottom feeders. They're not going to be going anywhere. I mean, they've been making mistakes after mistakes after mistakes, trading good players away. Not
DJ
getting
Moore.
good freaking
Yeah.
DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey.
Well, they had to do that. You
And-
gotta
They
get
had
some
to get
pieces
something
for him.
Yeah.
DJ
Because he
Moore,
wasn't
they-
on the
It
side.
is
DJ Moore, they
still
messed
a
up so
mistake.
bad.
That
It
one
is
they
still
progressed
a
big time.
mistake.
Brian Burns got freaking
And
bad
freaking
chips.
Brian Burns. Now they have nothing other than Bryce Young freaking just running around like his chicken's head just got cut off.
Yeah,
Okay?
he's rotting.
And don't
over there.
forget, Carolina lost. Who's that linebacker, Labulu or whatever?
Oh, yeah, he was
Randy
good.
Louvu. Okay,
yeah,
yep,
Louisville,
yep.
yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Didn't mean to cut you
so
off.
I have them winning a couple of games as well. And Atlanta, I'm having them at 3 at 8-9. Just because of the fact that Kirk Cousins, even though he got, I mean, he'll win some games, but then most of the time he'll choke on every single games.
He's a fantasy star, Nick.
As my buddy would say, he's an
So,
elite quarterback.
For all the Atlanta fans, okay,
You suck.
they are overlooked. They are
What
absolutely
Atlanta fans,
overlooked.
dude? Have you been to a game?
Well, yeah, I
They
have.
don't have any fans.
Well, they will now.
Yeah, they will now. Yeah, for sure.
Who's the worst fan base? But side subject, Atlanta or Miami?
Oh, that's I was gonna say. Miami's got to be
Probably
worse. Miami's
Miami.
bad.
Yeah,
I have to agree, Miami.
Yeah,
Miami's
because you
terrible.
talk about 2 transient cities there. You know?
yeah.
But go ahead.
And then my second one is going to be the Saints, 9-8. I think it's a respectable number. Like you said, Derek Carr, he's an overrated quarterback. I don't know why he got paid that much money for something that he's not even a decent quarterback.
Not even decent.
Not even decent.
Well, that
He
is
is
just
complete-
blasphemous.
He is complete garbage to me. Now,
Holy Lord Almighty! The
These two
stats.
are bringing it this time, boy. I mean, wow.
he is complete garbage, but I think St. Stephen's will hold him out for this team. I really do think so. And the Bucks will go with a number 1 in division with 10-7.
McClain?
I've calmed down, folks.
Watch him put like Bucks last or something.
All right, so Carolina sucks. Everybody knows that Carolina's
Yeah.
horrible.
Absolutely.
Atlanta is third.
That's crazy.
Is third.
What's your
They
record?
have Bijan Robinson, and they have Kyle
Stud.
Pitts, who hasn't proved. Okay, so what else do they have? They have Kirk Cousins, who's coming off a torn Achilles, has put up great numbers, but can't do shit when it matters.
Right.
Is inconsistent. They wasted the 8th pick by taking Michael Penix, who could be a starter in 90% of the league. And they were. What did they do to get better? They have done nothing. They brought in Kirk Cousins.
That's a significant upgrade.
Is it though?
Compared to what
really?
they had, yeah.
Compared to what
Was
they
it
had?
Desmond Ritter? Who was the other quarterback?
Fine, but Kirk Cousins. No.
Damn.
Derek Carr's better.
Well, he deserved to go at somewhere
I mean, he's
else.
great. Like you said, he's
In
great
20
Sunday at 1 o'clock.
In
but Monday,
2024,
no.
Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins.
Really? Really?
Yes.
Hey, I respect it. I respect
You
it.
know what? I think it's equal.
Right, but the Saints have a better. If you think, okay,
I think it's equal.
I can't disagree with that, but also, if you look at it that way, the Saints have a better roster than the Falcons by far, bar none.
Especially defensively.
Bar none. Well, yeah, bar none. So you've got the Saints at 2,
Right.
and then you have the Buccaneers at 1.
Right.
They won the division last year. There's continuity this year. Last year was year 1 for Baker Mayfield in the offense. They re-signed
love what
Tristan
Baker
Wirfs.
did.
They brought in Graham Barton.
Yep.
They re-signed
Graham
Mike
Barton,
Evans.
that's
They
his
re-signed Levante David. They re-signed Antoine Winfield Jr., who, by the way, should have won Defensive Player of the Year last year.
I agree,
That's
100%. He is a stud.
He won them multiple
Yeah.
games.
Stud.
Baker Mayfield was a top 8 quarterback last year.
Yeah, I think
I
the Bucks are
agree
going to be a great
100%.
team.
Will he be able to repeat that
Yes.
without Canales?
I think I do. I really do.
I'm not arguing. I'm just asking.
I don't think it's even close. I think they're far and away the best team in the NFC South, and awful. Awful.
All right.
Because you've got to look at it this way.
Go ahead.
The Falcons signed Kirk Cousins. Congratulations. They didn't do anything else to raise the bar. What makes you think? Do you really think that Kirk Cousins improves the team by 5 wins? Is that what
Well, I
you're
wouldn't
telling
say 5 wins.
me? Okay,
but
so
3
then how do you
wins.
put him at number 1?
They're
See,
just better
so
than
hold
the-
up. Before y'all even get into that, what doesn't make sense, and this is what we said in the video that y'all didn't see, because of my dumb ass. But anyway, what makes the signing bad? You sign Kirk Cousins to a $180 million deal. And then with the 8th pick, you pick
take
a quarterback.
That's another thing.
Why did you
doing?
not? Why didn't you? Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Rome Odunze go at 9?
Yeah, or 9
Why
or 10,
did
whatever.
you?
yeah.
Why not pair that up with a receiver?
What are you
Well,
doing?
that was not smart. I do agree with that for sure. But the Falcons were a good team
And
already
then if
last
you wanted
year.
Penix, you could have got him later.
Later.
Oh, facts. I agree.
Nobody was going to get him until the second round anyway.
That's what I thought too.
Right.
I was
You know,
blown away with
Penix was
that.
going to go where he went.
Mhm.
Mm.
Penix was going to drop to the second round, pick him there. Nobody gives a damn. Out
I'm
that
surprised they didn't even at
You
least
know what I'm
trade
saying?
down or something. Yeah, I was shocked
I
by
mean,
that. I
They
was,
should have got more picks if they was going to do
yeah,
that.
no, I agree.
Right.
But that's why it's like, what are you doing?
That's
Overall, I don't think that division is good at all.
true. Nope.
I think that the Bucks have 11 wins, and then everybody else has. The Saints might have 8
All right.
at max, and nobody else. The
That-
Falcons are a 6-win
that's a
football
respectable
team. They're
number.
not good.
That's a
You've got
respectable
2,
number.
6, 8, and they're just not good.
Yeah.
Why don't we go to the NFC East? Because I think that's going to be a pretty...
Prove me wrong, Kirk Cousins.
He's
Won't.
not.
He's not.
He's not. But
He's
go
not.
ahead.
The NFC East is really a tricky one too.
That division kind of sucks too.
That's
Well,
why I said it.
Yeah.
not as bad as South,
Not as
but
bad as the South, right? Okay.
I do think the Giants are going to end up being 4th.
Okay.
And no, I really, of course, really like the Brian Burns trade. There we go. But other than that, I really like the Malik Neighbors pick. I thought that was really cool. But Daniel Jones at quarterback,
Is that why they're 4th?
I do think that's why they're
Because
fourth.
of Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
No
I
argument-
think
no
he
argument
is
here.
a significant
He sucks.
worse quarterback than
Oh, he's terrible.
I already forgot his name, Kirk Cousins.
Oh, without question. I think
I think he's way overpaid.
I think
$40 million a year or
there
something?
is no thinking. He is 100% way overpaid. He got $40 million a year to do nothing.
And apparently he's already looking really bad in camp and preseason.
Oh, he's terrible.
So,
Out of 32 NFL starters, he's got to be like 31.
but
Yeah.
Giants,
At least.
Giants are a couple of years away, though. I will say watch out for them in 2 years.
Okay.
Number
So
3
you get a
team.
different quarterback.
Yes, next year 100%.
Okay,
I think they're going
alright.
to draft one, like top 5 probably.
Yep. Okay. Fair. All right.
Now, see, here's where it starts getting tricky because you got obviously the Commanders, you got the Cowboys, and the Eagles. I really do like the Commanders this year. I
Really?
think they're a really, really, really sneaky team. Jaden Daniels is going to completely change that team. They got a whole bunch of new signings. I can't even name like half of their signings because they did so many. But I do think they're going to be number 3 team.
Yeah.
They're not as good as the Cowboys, the Eagles, of course, at least in my
Right.
opinion. But I think they're going to be a 9-win team, maybe 8-win team. I really do like the Commanders and Jaden Daniels, and watch out for them. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year.
That's
just like
fair.
the Giants.
That's fair.
Okay.
And
I don't know if they win 8 games, but they're going to be. I think that the Bears and the Commanders are going to be very similar in terms of progression. I just think that the Bears have more talent, so they're going to end up winning more games. I
Correct.
think the Commanders will win 5 or 6 games,
Mhm.
but they'll be in 10 to 11 games.
There you go.
The Bears, I think, will win 7 or 8 games, but will be in the same amount of games. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I agree, obviously. Then I got the Cowboys number 2, and I got the Eagles number 1. We all know that the Eagles had that crazy start beginning of the year. What was it like? 8-0, 9-0?
Was that this past year? Or was that
Well,
the
that
year
was-
before?
What was that this year?
We can't keep track of.
I don't know, but then
It
they
was
just
like-
fell
it
off the
was
face
last
of the
year.
earth.
That was the year before.
Yeah. It
Because
was the
they
year
was,
before?
they was, yeah, because they was very rocky.
No.
It was
I think
last
it was
year.
this year.
It was
Yeah,
about
Because
the
because
they
same-
kind of fell apart.
Because they fell apart
Yeah,
completely, and the
yeah,
Bucks
that's right.
killed them in Tampa.
Yeah,
Because the year before they went to the Super Bowl.
died.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I love the Saquon Barkley signing. I mean, they had DeAndre Swift last year, and he was an above average
Where is
running
he
back.
now? Oh,
He's
you
with
saw
the-
him a couple.
He's with the Bears.
Bears, yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
DeAndre Swift.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
But I love the Saquon Barkley
Yeah,
signing.
without question. Running backs are underpaid. Let me just say that right now.
I agree. I mean, for sure. But they still got Jalen Hurts, which I think he's still a pretty good quarterback.
I think
of
he's a
course.
top 10.
For sure, top 10. Pushing at top 5, but
Oh, not
I
top
think
5, without question.
that's what I'm saying.
Never.
Yeah,
I mean,
top 10.
you've got Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Burrow, Rodgers are without question about them.
Yeah, and they made a couple of really good coaching changes too. I can't name them top of my head, but
Yeah, no, I have no arguments here. Yep.
yeah. So offensive, defensive coordinator for the Eagles, they completely revamped that whole coaching group. Like I said, I think Saquon's gonna be a really big part of that
Yeah.
offense, and their offense is loaded.
They
There's
brought
no,
back AJ Brown.
Yep.
Their corpse, their 1 and 2, Devontae is scary.
and
It's scary.
their offensive line is still really, really good, even though they lost Jason.
How do they
Kelce.
bounce back? How do they handle that? Right.
Yeah, but other than that, they're still a great offensive line. Their defense is still really good.
Oh yeah.
So, in the Cowboys, I mean, we all know what they did this offseason. A whole lot of freaking nothing.
Sorry.
It's okay. But the Cowboys, I think they're going to be number 2. I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs this year. I think the drama with freaking Dak Prescott, with CeeDee Lamb, even Micah Parsons, I mean, they got to sign somebody. Freaking, the Cowboys, again, I think they're
As soon
going
as
to be...
he's done, go ahead and say it.
Well, actually, no, that's it. No, I'm done. What are you going to say?
Fuck Dallas.
Oh, no, I don't
Every
like that.
show round, I have to say, it's got to come out
Their
once.
logo is there for a reason.
The Dallas hate. Say it every time. The only people who think that Dallas is America's team are people who live in Dallas. Nobody wants to watch you go 8-8 every year.
That's rough.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. But Cowboys, yeah, they're going to be we're going to be a weird team this year. So.
Right. Since festivity is low, go ahead and break it down.
All right, 4, New York. They suck.
Mm.
They're a 3-win football team. They're not good. 3 is his hometown team, the Washington Commanders. Stadium, 32 out of 32. Don't ever take a trip to FedEx Field. You might die. 2 is Dallas, just because even though they didn't do anything right, there's a lot of controversy and a lot of drama around Dak Prescott, but they have talent.
They do,
They do.
absolutely.
Micah Parsons is a beast. CeeDee Lamb is a top 10 receiver.
Mhm.
Dak Prescott, as much as you love him or hate him, you can say whatever you want about him, he's a top 10 quarterback.
Mhm.
I'm going to argue every day of the week that Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I'll sit here and so. But number 1, because in almost every situation except for one, we'll get there, the quarterback can't do, you know what I mean, can't do everything. There's one certain exception. Everybody knows who it is. We'll get there when we talk about that team. So I think the Phillies are, I just said Phillies, wow.
We get what you mean. We get you.
Eagles are just too talented. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, we're in the same boat there.
And basically, I'm going to harmonize everything. The Giants, they're just terrible. I mean, until they just really address that quarterback
Cut ties,
situation
yeah.
and just go ahead and revamp their offense, they're going to always be in that lower end of every race.
Mhm.
So the Commanders and the Cowboys, I think, going to have the same record. But based off of that, hear me out. So, yeah, come on, bring it. So here it is. My thing with Dallas.
Why do I get so mad? I hate Dallas. Continue.
No, but you didn't hear the other part of it.
Okay.
So basically, I see the Commanders and the Cowboys basically anywhere between 5 and 7 wins.
Really?
Okay?
You think the Cowboys are that bad?
They're going to be awful.
Even as a Cowboy hater, I would love to see it. Please do it.
Well,
Please.
think about this.
Mike
Look at
McCarthy
that.
sucks ass.
But that's one of the situations.
I had to deal with your crap for 14 years in Green Bay. You brought me one Super Bowl and you shit the bed every other year after that with your stupid dump play. Go ahead.
And then think about this. How devastated are they from that playoff loss coming into this year?
Well,
you know what I'm
multiple.
saying?
They
Wow, back-
completely
back to
choked
back to San
themselves to
Francisco?
death.
I mean,
I know they had the clock spike. Remember where they couldn't spike the
Yeah.
ball? That was 2 or 3 years ago. I think Jimmy G was still there. And then the year after, they lost again. Anyway,
Yeah, but that's the whole thing that I'm getting at. The Cowboys didn't improve
at all.
any.
They didn't do anything.
There's
They
nothing
brought back
there.
Zeke.
And they lost half of their coaches.
Yeah.
All right.
100%.
So I can see Washington and Dallas having the very same record. By tiebreaker, Dallas would trump Washington. I mean, it could go the other way. It depends on who win the home and all that other crap.
Yeah.
I think with the Commanders, they're going to be up and down. They're going to have some games where it's like, damn, the Commanders did that to such and such, and then you're going to be like, damn, they beat the living hell out of the Commanders. They're going to be up and down. So expect that. I don't see anything consistent there.
Right.
With the Cowboys, I kind of see them just like going to sleep at the wheel at some games. They're just going to tank it. I think McCarthy gets fired. This is it for him. He goes wherever he's going to go. And then, of course, going to the Eagles, they're going to win the division. But it's going to be very interesting with them not having Jason Kelsey there to go ahead and.
Yeah.
I mean, the NFL kind of figured out that play, you know, but at the same time, that's an option that they don't have anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And now, Jalen Hurts, he's going to have to play big boy quarterback now. It's not. All
A
right.
little more of hiding behind your guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. None of this wishbone crap and all of this. We're going to go at it. Let me see what your arm is. Let me see what your decision making is. What is that safety doing? What is that linebacker doing?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see you play quarterback all the way through now. That's my evaluation with that. Mr. Nick?
Okay, so like we all agree, Giants completely suck. I have them winning at least a couple games. They
Who's worse, New York or Carolina?
Carolina.
both
still.
are combined.
I think Carolina's worse.
Carolina's worse.
Carolina's worse. Okay. All right.
They-
Go
They
ahead.
don't have talent. So.
No.
Sorry, Panthers fans, if you're out there.
Well, I'm not, but anyway. Besides the point, the Commanders, I think they're, like you said, they're going to be just wishy-washy. You know, they'll win some games and then lose some and all that. I think they're going to go 8-9.
Okay. That's pretty ambitious, but okay.
All right.
And I have them two fighting for first place, the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Really? You, the Cowboys, being that? Well, wait. You have them fighting for first place at what records?
11-6.
Okay, that's a fair take. I think the Eagles, before I forget about it, and then you can go, but I think the Eagles win the division, but I think they have to go on the road to, for example, Tampa or
Right.
or San Francisco. They don't win a playoff game. They're just right. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, I have Dallas going in the second, and the Eagles at first, and then right after the Cowboys go in the playoffs again, and if they completely choke, Mike McCarthy, you might as well pack your bags because you
Make a wild card.
real quick.
I think they're done regardless.
You
of
think
what
they make a wild card?
They might
You think so?
against us probably.
Yeah, it seems like it's always a freaking
Seems
Bucks.
like right, yeah. So okay. Well, what's left? I think we have the NFC West, and then we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll get into the AFC, and then we'll see what we're looking at for time, and we'll go from there.
Exactly.
So we'll switch over to the NFC West. I don't think there's going to be a lot of debate here, and if there is, then I'm wrong. You can fire off.
Well, all right. I have an interesting take at the top two, but
Okay.
all right. Number 4, Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
I love the Marvin Harrison draft selection, but
this is not enough.
That's not gonna do it.
that's literally all they got.
They're a Carolina team.
I don't know how I feel about Kyler Murray anymore. I mean, he's always so wishy-washy. He had a good first couple of years, but other than that,
he's exciting, but he's not.
He's not that
Giving
bad.
He's not the answer for the
Right.
Cardinals.
Yeah. Okay, number 3.
Number 3, I got the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a good team this year.
They always are. Yeah,
They're always like a 9-8 team type
Yeah.
thing, wild card. But Seattle, they got a couple of good players, of course, that DK Metcalf, and so Tyler Lockett, if he's still even there. He's still there, right? He's like freaking 38 years old, it feels like. He's like 30. Because he's been over there for freaking 20 years. Yeah. But I got the Seattle Seahawks, number 3. Number 2,
If you say something stupid,
I got the San Francisco 49ers,
Yeah,
number 2. Dude.
McClain has walked off the set, folks.
I feel like he really likes my picks a lot.
Oh, he loves it. I can tell just by the
And
way
of
he walks
course,
off.
I think the 49ers are going to be a great team. I think they're going to be 11 and 12 win team. I really do think so.
Mhm.
But with all this drama with Brandon Ayuk, we still don't even know where he's going yet. In my opinion, I think he's going to go to Pittsburgh. So I think he is going to get shipped up out of there.
Mhm.
It's when, of course, we don't freaking know when. But I really do like
I
the
mean, any
Rams.
trade that they do, they really gonna have to do it
And
within the next week.
Yeah, I have to for sure. You still got Trent Williams drama too.
I
Remember
know.
that? Yeah, that's a big
Right.
offensive lineman right there.
I know.
I don't know if you got that on camera, but
He's switching out.
no, freaking come on. You gotta get the Rams one, right?
So you had the Rams winning the division.
I do.
Okay.
I mean, they were a really
What?
good team last year, and that was with freaking Matthew
Rams?
Stafford hurt half the year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's a girly one. We were talking about that earlier. But I really do like what the Rams did too. They got Trey White in that secondary. Now, of course, if he's healthy, yeah.
Right.
But their defense is still really good. I just really like what the Rams are doing this
Aaron
year. Aaron Donald is going to be a big blow. I do agree with that.
That's a big.
But Sean McVay is always
Well,
going to
they
figure
draft
something out.
well. I mean, if you really think about it, the Rams really do draft well.
Yeah.
I think they draft a little bit better than San Francisco. You know, if you really put it player to player and so forth. But
And again-
is it enough for them to be number one in the division?
I think
over
so,
San
man. I
Francisco?
think it's going to be neck and neck, just like the Packers and Lions, 11, 12 win team. Again, I definitely think the 49ers are definitely a scary team, 100%.
what are you
McCaffrey.
doing when you're watching football?
I am
What
watching
are you doing
the
when you're
San
watching
Francisco
football?
49ers, all in their drama this year is what I'm watching.
I tell you, he's going to have to be on the show more often because I've never seen McClain so riled up over and over and over.
because he thinks he's right.
That's blasphemy. That's wild.
And there could be a little bit of bias, too, because I am a Packer fan, and they ruin Packer fans' heart for
Well,
sure.
that explains it.
All right, so do you want to break down or you want to skip over? and come
I'm
back to-
okay to break down. I
Right.
don't even need to get so mad because it's just awful take. There's
I can't wait to play this back in January.
awful. Okay, so Arizona 4,
Mhm,
Seattle 3,
mhm.
Los Angeles 2, and it's not close. The San Francisco 49ers are the best team in that division, and they're the second best team in football.
So then, let me ask you both this: do the Rams and Seattle make the playoffs? But because we was talking about wild cards with Dallas.
Seattle
and-
does not. They're close, but they do not. And the Rams, it depends on the health of Cooper Kupp and what can... Is it Puka Nakua?
Something like that, but we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yuki Nakui. Anyway, depends on what he does as a follow-up to his sensational rookie year. But if Cooper Kupp is healthy, obviously it's a 1-2.
Mhm.
And Stafford's health. Stafford is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins.
I agree 100%.
I agree with that, too.
Yeah.
So, but what can losing Aaron Donald is a huge thing. They're always well coached. Sean McVay is a great coach. I love Sean McVay, but San Francisco is 3 or 4 wins better than them.
Shanahan's a great coach, too. And I
They're
think
3
they
or 4
will
wins
figure it
better than
out.
them, and I don't think there's any question there. So,
Right.
And I'm gonna keep mine short because I pretty much agree with everything on that side of the ledger here. Because the thing of it is, I'm not even gonna talk about I'm not even going to talk about the rest of the teams. I'm going to just break down.
Poor Cardinals fans. Jesus.
I mean,
They got nothing to look for this year.
That's nothing to
I
talk
gotta look
about.
for next year already. We didn't even start yet.
To be honest with you,
Look
I
at what
mean,
McLean's doing right now.
They're drinking already.
This man over here, sorry, Carl, this man over here got me walking off because the take is so bad I would have freaked out. I had to go take a moment, and now I'm finishing off this Red's Wicked Apple because. Woo! Alright, go ahead.
alright, so anyway, Seattle is going to be number 3, obviously. Do they make the playoffs? They're going to be a fringe team.
Yeah, they're right there. Like, they always
They're
are.
right there. So they probably would knock the Cowboys out if they got in as a wild,
Let's go.
which will make him very happy and a lot of other people very happy.
Yeah.
Then you have the Rams, who I think will make it as a wild card.
Okay, yep, better than Dallas. I can't, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
That makes
And
sense.
San
Okay.
Francisco, they may go right back to the Super Bowl, folks, you know.
They
I mean,
absolutely could.
simple as that. But, you know, Tampa may say something about that because Tampa can upset one of those teams, dude.
Now, I'm sorry if you. Go ahead.
I'm done.
All right, I'm going to have a hot take here. The sooner that the San Francisco 49ers figure out that Brock Purdy is not the answer, the sooner they will win a Super Bowl.
There you go.
For some reason, I don't know why, Kyle Shanahan seems to love game managers. Garoppolo was just up there. I took him down in anger. Game manager. Brock Purdy, game manager. The sooner they figure out that he's not the answer, they're going to win a Super Bowl because I think that's the most complete team in football.
Mm-hmm.
But your quarterback, when you're that good, can make or break. They win games in spite of, not because of.
Right.
I'm going to say an old school setting here.
And people can disagree with that, but I think Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy.
It is better to be ready than prepared. Because sometimes when you have a game manager and everything works the way it's supposed to, you look like $1 million.
And
But
when it
then
doesn't.
when it doesn't, and that team is blitzing, the team is doing some look you've never seen before, what kind of zone coverage is this?
What do we got going on? Right.
Yeah.
That's when I think Brock Purdy is going to be in trouble. That's why I don't have them going
Right.
all
A
the way to
team
the
that,
top. But I can easily see them being upset by one of the lower seeds.
right, a
Just
team
because
that's
of that
hungry and hotter, right?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's typically so in basketball, for example, even if a team is super hot in a 4-game series, the team that's super hot might grab a game or two.
Yeah.
In basketball, most of the time, 95% of the time, the best team is going to win.
Right.
Things don't usually carry over from game to game. You could shoot 1 for 20, and the next game you shoot 18 for 20.
Exactly.
Baseball, just like football, if you're good but not as good, for example, this year the Dodgers are really good.
Mm-hmm.
The Brewers are not as good as the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But if the Brewers are hot and run into the Dodgers at the right time when the Dodgers aren't hitting, I could see the Brewers beating them. Because hitting, if you're not hitting, you're not hitting. It doesn't really, hitting.
And I'll give you a real life example of that. Think about that 2018-2019 season that the Nationals won the World Series.
Right. Yep. They were not the best team. They were the hottest team.
Yeah.
But football can also be the same way because it's only one game.
Mhm.
Exactly.
If you suck, you're not going to win.
Right.
But do I think the 49ers are a better football team than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Yes, I think most people would agree with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if the 49ers have an off game and the Buccaneers play their best game, they are good
They're
enough,
gonna
they could
take
beat them.
advantage.
And that's what I
Exactly.
think what you're saying right
That's
there.
exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Mr. Nick?
Okay, so I'm gonna get this over with. Sorry, Cardinals fans. They're dog water. They're going bottom.
Maybe I need to get a T-shirt that says dog water on here because I've heard that term more than I've ever heard that term.
That's my new slogan, boys.
And now, okay, so this is going to be very interesting for me. I think these two teams are a fight for the second spot of that spot. And I think that the Rams are going to go in the third.
Whoa. Okay.
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 With 9-8,
I'm
and
okay with
Seattle going in 2
At 10.
at 10 and
I'm
7.
okay with that. It's a good division. It's a very good division.
It is. I
Yeah.
agree.
It's not the best
I
division
think
in
it's the
football, but
best.
it's a good
I
division.
think
But it's
it's the,
competitive, yeah.
I think they're a very competitive division in the league.
I think the best
No
division
doubt.
in football is the well, we'll get there. I think
No
it's the AFC
doubt.
North.
No doubt.
Facts.
And obviously, the 49ers are going to be number one,
Mhm.
as usual, until they find out about Brock Purdy, but I think that's all I got. I mean,
Okay, so now that we're done with that, and I am going to go take a moment to recuperate myself, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and cover the AFC. Since I think we're running long on time, we'll do the AFC, and then we're going to try to get on a schedule of every other week. So we're looking at the final preseason games start tonight through Sunday. We're going to take our week off, and then right before week 1 will be when our scheduled show is. I think we can just make that, if you want to do, I think you brought up a Kareem segment, right? We'll do the Kareem, and we can bring in we can do some historic, we'll just make that like a show, like a stopgap. So we won't do anything current, we'll just let him fill in the history buff to give him the spotlight, because Carl deserves his spotlight. He deserves the spotlight. No matter what he says, he deserves the spotlight. So, in a couple weeks, we'll do that, and then we'll go from there. So we'll be right
So
back.
Bills quarterback Josh Allen is weighing in on speculation that he might want to renegotiate his contract, considering how underpaid he is compared to a lot of his colleagues in the NFL. So thanks to that massive contract that he signed a little more than 3 years ago, Josh averages $43 million per year. It's a lot of money, but a lot has changed over that time. We talked about this a couple of months ago when Josh was the 11th highest paid quarterback in the league. Well, since then, 2 more quarterbacks have passed him. He's now 13th highest paid, despite Tom Brady recently describing him as the second best quarterback behind Patrick Mahomes, who, look at that list, is also underpaid relative to the others. Here's what Josh had to say about all this.
Listen, everyone's going to have their day. I'm happy that everyone's getting what they're worth, right? And I think that as the game progresses and guys keep getting paid again, the market is the market, and I've got no problem with where I'm at right now. And I had my day a couple years ago, and I'm sure someday I'll have it again.
He added that all he can do is play his best football, and everything else will take care of itself.
All right, welcome back. We are back with a special guest. This here is Marley for all the folks that are watching. I'll do the special shout-outs at the end of the show. We good with the same rotation we did last time? We're going to start us off with the division, and then we'll go the way down?
Yep.
All right, so we're AFC, and wherever you want to take us, we'll take us. Yeah, all right, you're square. Go by. Yes, go.
You know what? Let's start with the AFC East.
Ooh.
She got me out of there.
She's excited.
But I think the number 4 team, I think we could all also agree on, is by far probably the worst football team in the National Football League, the New England Patriots. I think they're going to, when I did my little predictions, I think they're going to have like 1 win or 2 wins.
But you're not in love with Drake May?
I don't mind Drake May, just who is he throwing to?
Hey, baby.
I mean, they just traded Matthew Judon too. Uh-oh, we have a little something going on.
We have technical difficulties with the animal.
Technical difficulty.
Now, she almost knocked over a light, folks, so don't worry about it. Keep going with your take there.
Yeah, so I think the Patriots are number 4. I think they're still maybe a couple of years away too. I do like the new coach, of course. Bill Belichick being gone is going to be really weird watching the Patriots game, if they're even aired this year. But, yeah, Patriots number 4. Number 3, the New York Jets. I do think, oh, God, see, I can't even do anything yet, man.
But he is really stirring up a lot of shit with
I don't know if it's put something in that cup or whatever, but, I don't think that's that crazy to take. I think the Jets are going to be a good team this year, too, and I think they could definitely sneak in the wild card spot. But, of course, it all depends on that man right there, Aaron Rodgers. If, he's turning 40 years old, or is he already 40 years old?
December 2nd, 1983, he'll be 41.
Damn. So
Aaron Charles Rodgers.
I obviously love Aaron Rodgers. I think he is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but he was the greatest. We don't know how he is anymore. And we seen him the last year in Green Bay, he was 8-9 and did okay, if anything. And technically, the Packers were a better team when he was on there than last year. But anyways, he hasn't played great as last year in Green Bay. Then he comes to New York and doesn't even play all year. And injuries, the torn Achilles, is not a good thing to come back from. And their backup quarterback's now Tyrod Taylor. So I think that's a little bit of an upgrade in Zach Wilson. But I do like the Jets team. I think they have a great defense. They have a really good potential being like a top 5, top 10 offense for sure. Just don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers yet. I think they're like a 9-win team.
And your number 2 is?
9 number 2. You know, this is the toss-up too. And when I was doing my predictions, I was like, damn, I really have this team being this good. The number 2 is the Miami Dolphins, and I got the number 1.
Oh, no!
Number 1 is the
No!
Buffalo Bills. I can't.
No! You don't know!
What is he? Don't like the?
I'm gonna get a mobile camera just to get some of these
I
off
mean,
screens.
yeah.
This man doesn't know!
And the Dolphins.
No!
You know, it's like these number 2 teams. It's not like I'm trying to diss them.
You're number 2!
I take number 2.
This is
sorry.
exciting television, folks.
I think the Bills are definitely in a weird transitional period. They've lost a few good players.
Off you!
Yeah, they like Stephon Diggs, who was basically cancer in that team. I think they're going to be a lot better motivationally, at least in my opinion. And their wide receiver room, the Bills, is definitely questionable. I agree.
So I'm kind of curious though. You had the Jets at number 3, but do you see Aaron Rodgers getting injured? Do you think he's going to have a bad
I don't
year?
know how. I think he's going to have a bad year.
Oh, God! Oh!
I mean, I don't hate Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what he has. I don't know what Aaron Rodgers
Well,
has.
I'm not going to react like McClay, but I found that very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. You guys should watch my YouTube channel too. I got
Watch your YouTube channel.
Man. Anyways. Dolphins are going to be a great team this year for sure. I think, Tua's going to be a great quarterback because, of course, he just got paid really good. Of course, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. Their team's going to be great. I just think the Bills are just going to be one win ahead. It's not like they're going to be completely blowing out the AFC East or anything. Not saying that. I think they're going to be an 11-win team. Miami's going to be a 10-win team. I think the Jets are going to be a 9-win team. I think it's going to be a close race besides the Patriots. No disrespect, but disrespect at the same time. But then 30 teams are going to be fighting for the top spot for sure. Now, I think the Jets are going to be a great team this year. I just don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers yet.
Okay, so
And the Bills-
obviously okay, go ahead and finish.
No, that's it. No, I'm done.
All right.
Those are going to be a sneaky team.
Obviously, McClain is not ready. I'm gonna go with the Nick this time because I'm not ready.
Okay,
My
so
head hurts.
so 4th, I got Patriots going there by a couple games.
Don't say something stupid.
Think about what you're going to say before you say it.
Oh, I thought about it
Look
already.
over here and look at me before you say something dumb.
Okay, I already have. And I thought about this really hard.
You better think again.
Okay. All right, I'll think. Okay,
Go
no,
ahead, bring it. Don't let McClain bully you. Go ahead and say
Yeah,
what
say
you
what
got.
you
so
gotta say.
I think that the 3rd spot is going to be Miami.
Interesting.
I don't have the energy to get up and walk away again, but no!
Do you really think Tua is going to be the answer for that offense?
Well, he's got to be now. He's just got paid.
He's a $55 million man, so he better be.
I don't
Man,
disrespect
see this man
right
right here behind us? He ain't even a football guy, but he's rolling over in his grave at these takes. He's rolling over and damn, I should have been a receiver, damn.
All right. So Miami's
Sorry,
3.
Cole.
Who's your number 2?
The Jets.
No! Why?
Because
Give me a reason.
because I think that the Jets and the Bills are going to be neck and neck.
Why?
Because of the fact that Aaron Rodgers, yes, he is a veteran. He knows what he's doing, but he can fuck up on some other games. You've seen it back in 2019, 2018 when he was with the Packers. Okay. So I really don't think that the Jets gonna be in number 1. I really don't think. They have great defense in the league, of course. But the Bills, they have something up in their sleeves that you have no freaking idea.
Yeah,
I
agree.
think they have so much injuries.
Wait, who did you put at one?
Okay.
Bills.
Yeah, why?
Well, I'll explain when you're ranting, but it's next time, so.
All right.
So I think that the Bills gonna pull it off somehow.
God, you're
And
wrong.
I
You're
think-
so wrong. You're both wrong. You're very, very wrong.
Keep going,
Let
Nick.
him
Keep
go.
going.
Let him go.
Sorry.
But unfortunately, this is my opinion because anything can happen. Even the overrated teams, they will go in the slump easily.
Mhm.
Easily.
Mhm.
And I think Jets is going to be one of them.
Did you want to go?
No.
All right. Patriots, we already know what they are. I mean, they're probably a 4-win team. I actually got Buffalo at number 3 because, I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff that they...
This is a man with some sense.
I mean,
Thank you.
They made a lot of moves that I'm like, what?
Thank you. This is a man with
And
sense.
they were
here, folks.
already questionable coming in to last year. I'm not even talking about this year. Last year, what did I say about Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Instagram model.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's
Which is crazy because Instagram model is the second best quarterback in football.
I know. I mean, it's like you look at this model on Instagram and you look at this girl, you're like, damn, I need some of that. And then,
And then
all
you
of a
meet
sudden,
it, you're like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, what
when you actually meet her and she's asking for the $300 dinner, then she's saying, well, you know, by the way, I got like 9 kids and everything else. I was like, what the hell did I get myself into? That's how I feel about Josh Allen. He gets you there. It's like, all right, that's the
That
only
doesn't get
step.
you there.
Exactly.
Right.
He's the one, but he ain't the one. Then, my number 2 is Miami. My number 1 is the Jets. I know that Aaron Rodgers went out last year. That was a freak injury. You know, it can happen to anybody. The Jets have a lot of talent
They
out
do.
there.
Absolutely.
And Aaron Rodgers has a very live arm.
Yes.
Tua does not have a live arm.
Thank you.
But, you know, he's picked up the system really well that
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel has brought in there. I just feel like Tyreek Hill's speed, you
And
know,
Jalen Waddle being a freak.
it's just like Tua's arm. If he had that arm like Rodgers,
That's
if you
the problem.
Flip, if you
Oh,
flip,
yeah.
That's
if you
the
flip
problem.
Rodgers
That's a
for
Super Bowl
Tua,
team.
it's like
That's-
there's no doubt that Miami will be the class of that division.
Yep.
But because of Rodgers' arm, I have them number 1. If he gets injured again, all things are out the window. I give you that. But he's there, so I'm picking what's there.
True. You're right.
So, McClain?
Okay, why do you have Buffalo at 1?
Instead
Well, I
of
was
him taking a
explaining
safety
it
jump
earlier.
Why do you got Buffalo at 1?
I just like what they got going.
What do they have going? Who's going to catch the ball?
Keon.
Who else?
Oh God, Curtis Samuel.
You know, they just lost their number 1 linebacker for the whole year.
That's a big blow, and I realized that
They lost
not too long
Stephon
ago.
Diggs.
When I was doing my predictions too. Well, Stephon Diggs, whatever.
Whatever.
Milano is a big
Whoa.
blow for sure.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Okay,
Stephon
he's bringing it,
was good. Was like 3 years ago.
Whatever you put in the comments, he's bringing it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you got to say about McClain, he's bringing
Dude,
it.
I feel it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys always trash me, so bring it. And Mr. Nick, be nice to him. You know what I'm saying? Let's have some love for a change.
I ain't having no love.
I don't know, man. I
I'm
mean,
baffled by your God. Okay, so
I
New
mean-
England is 4. No one's
Yeah.
arguing that.
No.
Buffalo is 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh.
I thought you was agreeing. I was like,
Oh.
what happened to all
Oh, man.
Buffalo is 3. Miami is 2.
Until otherwise, next.
Tua is in the same boat as Brock Purdy. As soon as the Dolphins realize that Tua Tagovailoa, whatever his name is not the answer, they will win a Super Bowl. They have weapons on the outside. They're well coached. They're
100%.
dangerous.
Yes.
The Jets are 1. They're too talented offensively. They were a top 10 defense last year, even when they sucked.
Yep.
And I'm assuming that Rodgers is going to be healthy. because they upgraded that offensive line.
Yeah.
He's a top 5 quarterback. They're number 1.
I mean, we all could be wrong, folks.
We all could be wrong.
That's what I was saying earlier in the beginning of the episode. I'm like, we could all be wrong here.
I'm
We
okay,
could all-
right? We could all be very wrong, and the Panthers could win 12 games.
Exactly. Exactly. We all never know. That's why I would love to watch this video back in January.
I don't see that at all, but
You
yeah.
need to
You never know.
You
You never know.
And just so you know, I'm not actually upset.
Things
Just
happen
so you
for
know.
a reason.
Just if you think I don't like this man or whatever, it's a show. That's what we do here.
No,
we
man.
meet.
I mean, I just
I
don't go by the media.
I love the energy.
It's entertainment.
Bring it
That's
on.
what we do here. We entertain.
Exactly.
And I love it. I like to hear different takes. It's better than, well, I agree with that. Yeah, no, it's better because it makes it interesting.
Exactly.
That's why you guys should go check out my YouTube too. So.
Yes.
What's the handle?
Get a
Jason Sports Clips is the YouTube name.
shameless
Alright,
plug. Hit that subscription. It will be in the comment section below.
Yes.
Not the comment section, excuse me. In the whatever it's called.
It'll be in that third tile. below.
Yeah, it's
You'll
there.
see it.
Please go check it out.
See, look, there it is. Oh, wow. How did he do that?
Oh,
All right.
man, that guy's handsome.
All right, so let's go to another division.
Please.
Oh God! Well, where do you guys want to go to? I think we should say the AFC North for last, though. I think
Okay,
that's the
all
best
right,
way.
yeah, but I think
That's
that
fair.
before we go anywhere else, I think the 2 best divisions in football are the AFC North and the the NFC North. The North is both conferences.
I agree too.
Okay,
There
so
we go.
Let's go to the AFC South.
that's gonna be okay. I like that.
And this is interesting.
Yes, it
because,
is.
Because you got some teams that should be complete dog water on paper, but it's like then
Somehow
already
like
really
that
at the
t-shirt,
same
folks.
time. You know, I think there's a clear and obvious number 1, but when it comes to number 2 through 4, it's hard, really, really hard. I got the Tennessee Titans as my number 4 team. I like their team a lot. I mean, of course, we all know Derrick Henry's not on the team
Yeah.
anymore, but I like the Tony Pollard signing. I like, D-Hop's still there, which is he still the
Didn't
same?
he just get injured?
Did he?
Out for like 8 weeks. Yeah.
Well, that's
He
even
got
worse
hurt.
then. Well, that's even worse. It solidifies my number 4. And I actually didn't even know that. But they have a nice little team. They got Quandre Diggs in the signing.
Right.
I don't like Will
Oh,
Levis.
say
I
no.
don't.
I
QB.
think that the Mike Vrabel firing, as we've talked about on the shows before, in the NBA, in all the sports, the coach is always the one to blame, and Vrabel was not to blame there.
That's true. I don't know why they fired him.
Because
I
they
don't
gotta
get
blame
that.
somebody, and they can't point the finger at themselves.
Literally.
God forbid, I could be wrong.
I was so upset with that firing
Right.
too.
Okay. 4. Okay.
But again, I just don't like
Yeah.
Will Levis.
No.
They're not a bad team on paper,
I
but
think they should give him. Is it Malik Willis from?
Yeah.
I think they should give him. a shot, honestly. Right.
But no, true. You're right. You just got to at least give him a shot. And number 3, it's hard because again, another toss-up too. But I had to pick somebody. I got the Colts as my number 3 team.
Okay.
I think that what did they even do this offseason? Again, they have a nice little team. Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, the number 2 wide receiver. Anthony Richardson is finally coming back. We only seen him play
my God,
one
I
game.
totally forgot.
And
Totally.
I can't
was
wait.
to ask who's the quarterback. It's Richardson.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what he does this year, but we haven't seen him yet. Just like Caleb Williams and the other rookie quarterbacks. He's technically still a rookie.
Well, what about the comeback player of the year, Joe Flacco?
Man, get the fuck out of here. The Colts defense is mid. I like what they did in the draft, but
Yeah, they
Colts.
brought in my boy Tanner Bortolini from Kewanee, Wisconsin. Go ahead.
I don't even know who that is.
I know who that is.
He's a Wisconsinite, folks.
Oh,
Go ahead.
all right. Well, Colts number 3. I think they're going to be an average team, like 6,
Yeah.
7, 8. I think 8 max for them. But again, I could be completely wrong.
Is what's Jonathan Taylor?
Jonathan Taylor is
He's
still
still
there.
there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Their O-line's still really good too, but the Colts number 3. And number 2 is the Jaguars. Number 1 is the Texans. I don't think we should all disagree on number 1 because the Texans were already so good last year. And now they got your boy, Stephon Diggs. They got your boy. But they got Danielle Hunter, which I think he's a very good outside
What does he have
linebacker.
left in the tank is the question.
True.
That is
True.
the question.
Well,
But he at
a
least-
change of scenery and a motivated and a defense around to help him, I think, right. And they're well coached. I like D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah, now they got Tank Dell who's going to be healthy. Of course, Nico Collins. Of course, oh my God, what's his name? The freaking quarterback. Why am I
CJ
blanking?
Stroud.
Yeah,
CJ
that's it. C.J. Stroud.
By the way,
I was thinking, like, what is his name all of a sudden?
the
But-
Texans are in contention for the stupidest team name in the NFL, right up there with the Bills. I mean, what the hell is a Texan?
Yeah.
We all know. Well, if you're from Texas, well, you're a Texan, right? But so you're the Houston Texans.
They couldn't drag out the Oilers again.
I'm out with something
I like
better
the
than that.
Oilers better for sure.
All right, so you've got the Texans at 1.
Yeah, I like the Joe Mixon addition too. I think it's sneaky.
Very good.
That's it.
Got anything to add to that?
Okay, 4 Tennessee, 3 Indy, 2 Houston. I'm putting
No.
Houston at 2.
Really?
I do. I think it's another one of those. Well, we know they're coming now. How good is Nico Collins really gonna be?
Mm-hmm.
He was great last year. I think they're coming now. I think that Trevor Lawrence is a top 8 quarterback come January 2024. Excuse me, shit. Wow.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
2025.
Yes.
I think the
Yeah,
quarterback
that's
next
a
year,
bold take.
but I'm not saying that. I'm not going to sit here and say that Houston is trash. I'm saying when we're looking here, I think it's 2 10-plus win football teams. I think we're looking at 12-5 and 11-6.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any quabbles though with putting Houston at 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say it's wrong. I'm going to
They're
put.
going to be whooping a game of each other.
Right, I have my bias. I
Yeah.
like Trevor Lawrence.
Mhm.
I think that Jacksonville is going to be first, and I'm okay to sit here and be wrong. I have no issues with Houston being 1. And Houston has not been good in how long? I'd love to see him be 1. Well, either one of those teams, you can't be mad. They haven't been good in. Jacksonville has had one good year with Bortles and haven't been good since. I
Yeah,
don't think they've ever
they've
been
been
good.
mid. Yeah,
They've been awful. They
They've
had
been
Maurice
horrible.
Jones-Drew, but they were not a good football team with the Jones-Drew.
Right.
And Houston hasn't. They were competitive for a couple years there with Andre Johnson and like Arian Foster, and but they weren't.
They went
So-
to an AFC Championship one year.
Right,
I mean,
but I'm okay to have both. So 1 and 2, but that's what I've got. So
I mean, basically, I see Jacksonville winning that division. Literally the last week of the season.
Yeah.
Literally,
It's-
it's
yeah.
going to be between them and Houston.
Yeah.
Whoever has the point differential, that's who's going to win that division. And that's the only change that I really have. Because Lawrence, I mean, here's the thing with Jacksonville. They have to believe they can win. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I think. They get lost in those games sometimes. It's like they have the clear advantage, and
I
it's
think
like
it's
they
a
just
lack
blow.
of consistency in the team is
right.
I really think so.
Go ahead. I mean, that's all I was going to add,
Yeah.
so go for it.
Okay. So 4, I got Titans
Okay.
at 4, with maybe 4 or 5 games, maybe.
Yeah.
Colts, even though you know Anthony Richardson will be coming back with that injury, and Michael Pittman signing obviously or re-signing obviously, but that's not going to do anything. I think they're going with 6 and 11 for that one. Jacksonville, I think they're going to choke on the last 5 games of the season.
Okay.
I think they're going to choke, and they're going to go with number 2.
Okay.
Mhm.
Not mad at
And
that.
then Houston, just because of the fact that they got too much weapons on
They
the
got
offensive
weapons.
side.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Right. They got the halfback Joe Mixon in the backfield. They got Tank Dell and obviously Nico Collins if he actually shows up. You know, if he does better than he did last
Yeah,
year.
great. I mean, great for 7
Dalton
games.
Schultz and then that offensive line.
Should have
I do-
forgot about Dalton Schultz.
Good tight end too.
Yeah.
With that signing, I do worry about their offensive line a little bit. Not the tackle side, maybe the guard side. I'm kind of concerned because if they do the inside run with Joe Mixon and everything, they're gonna get clogged.
Right, but he's always been an outside guy. So
Right.
what we'll have to see is that all
But
those.
We have to see
but
both
any-
teams.
But any of that nature, I think that Jacksonville is gonna choke. They go with number 2, and Houston with number 1.
Okay, but I think that both Houston and Jacksonville are well coached. I've always liked Doug
I think so
Peterson.
too.
I mean,
I
Nick
think so,
Foles
too.
doesn't have a Super Bowl ring without Doug Peterson as his head coach.
True.
Because let's be honest, nobody wants to talk about it, but the only reason that the Eagles were where they were is because, well, Carson Wentz
Yeah.
won the MVP that year.
That's crazy.
I know.
How fast he fell off. Too.
Yeah.
That
So,
was crazy.
But I think the Colts are third, like you said, but they're a competitive third.
It can be.
I think so too.
So
It could
what's
be.
left?
The West and the North. Yeah.
Okay, well, what do we think is the worst division in football? Is it the NFC South or is the West worse? The AFC West, because the AFC West is
You know, a couple of years ago, it's crazy that they were like one of the best divisions a couple of years ago.
What do
And
we think? The West is going to be pretty bad, I think. Right?
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be terrible, but I don't think it's the best. for
I don't
sure.
think it's going to be the worst than the South. I don't think. Because
Yeah, I
all
can
the
see
AFC opponents, every single AFC team, they're at least over 8 or 9 wins.
So the AFC is deep, is
No
what's
doubt.
right?
And maybe almost half of the NFC teams
Sucks.
completely sucks ass. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
NFC South is probably the worst.
All right.
I think so too.
We're saving the AFC North for last, so
Yeah,
that leaves us with the
unfortunately.
West.
Yep, the West. So number 4, you know, again, I think it's a really big toss-up between these two teams. Number 4, they just announced their starting quarterback a couple days ago. Well, actually, both these teams technically just did. I got the Denver Broncos being number 4. They lost Jerry Jeudy. They got Cortland Sutton as their number 1, which is a good wide receiver, but
That's literally it.
I mean, Williams is running back. Bo Nix, I do like what he's got,
He's
but
mediocre to me.
I mean, he looked really good against a really
Yeah,
horrible
Bo
Packers
Nix should have
defense.
gone higher than some of the guys that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I just don't think the Broncos have a chance this year. Maybe in a couple of years, like the other couple of teams I mentioned earlier.
They're not
But-
as bad as the Panthers, but they're
No,
4
no,
or 5
no,
wins,
no,
right?
I-
They're in a- There's a difference between being 2 and 15, and you said, what's the difference between 2 and 15, 4 and 13? Well, the difference is, if you follow the games or watch the games, what were they in? The Panthers are 2 and 15, and they're not in a lot of games.
Yeah.
The Broncos
Okay.
might be 4 and 13 or 5 and 12, but they're in 10, 12 games.
That's
There's
true.
a difference between
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I think the Broncos, a couple of years for them, but they're going to be number 4 in this year's division. Number 3, I got the Las Vegas Raiders, and I think they just got worse.
Yeah.
Jacobs is a big blow.
Yeah.
I mean, they announced Gardner Minshew is now their quarterback,
Right.
which, I mean,
I love
he's-
Gardner Minshew, but let's be honest.
I mean, he was good with Jacksonville.
Right,
but-
but he's a stopgap. I love Gardner Minshew, but he's,
And I love the signing of Christian Wilkins on that D-line. Their D-line is probably the best in the league.
Max Crosby's
I mean, those Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins,
Oh, Jesus.
studs.
Look out, right, but it doesn't.
But other than
I
that,
think it's gonna
I
matter.
could go out and play corner for them probably.
Right, yeah.
But other than that, Devontae Adams, of course, really good with wide
Devontae
receivers still.
Adams needs to move.
Yeah.
He's just
He needs to come
rotting
back to Green
He's
Bay.
just rotting away. I mean,
Come
he
back
just,
to Green Bay.
So,
So the Raiders are my number 3. My number 2 is the Los Angeles Chargers. Number 1 is the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs, they're going to be number 1 until they're proven otherwise. I don't know what.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, for real. I mean, there should be no debate about the Chiefs being number 1.
the Chiefs are that one team that I was talking about earlier where the quarterback, doesn't matter what you've got, the quarterback makes the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Who's catching the ball this year outside? Right. It doesn't seem to matter. The defense sucks. They don't have any when you have Patrick Mahomes, it doesn't matter.
No.
Here's Patrick Mahomes, and then here's everybody else. And until
Right.
proven otherwise, we were saying all the stuff last year about the Chiefs being in trouble. It didn't matter.
It did.
He finds a way.
He finds
And the
a way.
Chiefs came in the playoffs last year limping. I don't know if you
Right,
guys remember that
yeah.
last year. And then, of course,
It
freaking Patrick
doesn't.
Mahomes.
It
yeah.
doesn't matter. It doesn't. But sorry, finish up.
No,
and
that's
then-
okay. I mean, the Chargers, I think they're going to be a clear number 2. I mean, I still like Justin Herbert. They did lose a lot of pieces, but
Yeah,
their wide receiver room is looking a little sus. But
Did you understand what they were doing with the wide receiver room? They
No.
traded away Keenan Allen,
for a bad
No.
and
chance.
they let Mike Williams walk. He's now a Jet.
Yeah.
Granted, he's coming back from an injury, but he's a number 1 on
A lot
what
of
would you think? 20 out of 32 NFL teams.
I'm
That
not,
doesn't make any
I'm not
sense.
even gonna lie about this one, not to cut you off. I honestly thought he was gonna go to the Vikings because I figured that Harbaugh was cleaning house. His boy was out there, McCarthy.
Yeah. and you
I
would get
figured
Merrill.
he was just gonna, since he was cleaning house on the offense, why not bring his boy in there
Yeah.
and then let Herbert go to Minnesota? How different Minnesota will look with Justin Herbert.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
Justin
why not?
Herbert is a top. I think is a top 8. Justin Herbert's better than Tua.
Yeah,
I'll argue that.
yeah. So continue.
Sorry, thank you. Were you finished?
Basically, yeah. I like the Chargers, but not this
They
year.
didn't do a
Not
lot.
yet.
Yeah, they're flash, but it just
I
it
think
didn't make a lot of sense to me to bring in Harbaugh, who's an offensive-minded coach, and then let all your weapons go.
I know.
true, and that's a weird
And
question
it just
too.
doesn't
But
make any sense. Is Eckler still the running back?
nope, he went to Washington. It's Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. They brought the Ravens running back.
So what you're saying is they're going to have some random third guy because J.K. Dobbins, I know he only has 2 Achilles, but if there's another one to tear, he sure as hell going to find
I think the coach is a significant upgrade for the
Well,
Chargers.
yeah.
But other than that, I
But
mean,
what
they
are
technically
they
downgraded.
doing here?
Yeah, that's true.
So fourth, I don't like Sean Payton. I never have.
He's weird.
Yeah, but I like their jerseys. I don't know, it's not relevant, but I like their jerseys. But like you said, they're at least a couple years away. They're fourth. The Raiders are 3. They're just kind of stuck in purgatory, I think, which is
They play hard, but they don't have enough talent.
No, they don't. And in the league, the top league in the world, you need talent,
Exactly.
and they just don't have enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Chargers are they're second just because Justin Herbert is that good.
Yeah.
And well, yeah.
Yeah. The Chiefs.
The
Come on.
Chiefs. Well, also, even if the Chiefs, when I say only, right, some teams would be grateful to win 10 games. Even if the Chiefs only win 10 games, they're still going to win the division because the division is bad.
Mhm.
It's not good.
I mean, there's only really one team that would possibly knock out the Chiefs, and they did it before. And we will get to that when we get to that division and so forth.
That's right. We got the same. Then we agreed on something.
Finally.
Yeah.
You have to walk out of the room.
Hallelujah. All right, so the Chiefs. That's all I got to say about
All
the
right,
division.
fair enough. Short and sweet. Look,
I think you just finished off for me. I mean,
Okay.
I think we all 4 agree on the 4 placements
Yeah,
of the division.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
That's
All right.
crazy.
AFC
That's scary.
North, which we debated this one heavily last year,
Mhm.
and we are in the same position. It is literally a year later,
It's
and we are going to debate the same position again. I had a take last year, and it was the toss-up was between Cincinnati and Baltimore. We'll get there. Anyway, you can start us off then.
okay. Yeah, well, this division is definitely the toughest to really go 1 through 4. I mean, all 4 of these teams are above average. They're great. Literally every single one of them. And depending on what this team does, with the potential trade looming, they could change a lot of things. But as of right now, on paper, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I don't
number
think it's
4.
really even close.
I really do like the Justin Fields pickup. Russell Wilson,
For a bag of chips, you said for a bag of chips.
I love the bag of chips theory, but Justin Fields, I think, is going to start. They still got a really good defensive course. They
Yeah.
improved the O-line during the draft. I really like where the Steelers are going. They did trade Deontay Johnson, but that's what I was saying. If they trade for Brandon Ayuk,
Change the ball game.
it changes everything for that
Yeah.
team.
And they're always well coached. We had an in-depth discussion
Yeah.
on our channel last year about Mike Tomlin, just
Oh,
how good he is.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, but as of right now, the way the things are looking, as of right now, Steelers number 4. And this is where it starts
it
getting.
gets very
Ooh.
difficult, and I'm not going to argue with anybody here because I respect it because it's such a tough take. It's so hard.
It is. It really is. But as of right now, on paper, I got the Cleveland Browns as my number 3 team. Deshaun Watson, I mean, he was really good 3 years ago, but I mean,
it's hard. Yeah.
he's
That's a
paid.
magic gone.
Yeah, I'm a freaking little weirdo, but Nick Chubb's still there, of course, barring injury. One of the greatest running backs in the league right now.
Oh,
of
yeah.
course. They still got Amari Cooper. Miles Garrett on the other side.
That defense is scary good.
Defense is crazy, but
Deshaun Watson is the big question mark.
It is.
Which Deshaun Watson are we getting?
I don't
Right.
even freaking know anymore.
So, okay.
And then my number 2 is the Cincinnati Bengals, and then the Baltimore Ravens number 1. I think the Ravens getting Derrick Henry.
It's huge.
Dude, I mean,
How
I don't
effective.
even know how teams can stop the Ravens offense.
Right, because you had, Derrick Henry used to have to do everything in
Mhm.
Tennessee. Now he's not going to have to do everything. Imagine how effective he's going to be when he does get the football.
Exactly.
And they got a great O-line, too, the Ravens do. And their
Yeah.
defense is always going to be above average.
Yep.
But And the Bengals, I mean, they got a good team, of course. Joe
Top 5
Burrow.
quarterback, yep.
Yep, for sure. But T. Higgins,
What happens with T, right?
Yeah.
with T. Higgins, we only. I mean, he's still on the team right now, but. I mean,
But how invested is he? You know what I mean? Because some guys have their foot out the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's got to play for his contract year, so he's gonna have to
got
go
to play
out,
because
but-
he needs. Right. Yeah. So.
But that's a tough division, though.
That too, so.
True, that's true.
Okay. Good.
Does it?
All right. 4. Pittsburgh. Not much needs to be said there. They just don't have the talent.
You know, but before I say anything, I think Pittsburgh's gonna be like an 8 to 9 win team.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. It's just a
That's,
scary
that's-
good division.
Just like the NFC North too.
I will bet more 9 than 8 just because of Tomlin.
Yeah, true. That's
He
what I'm
gets
saying.
you a win or two.
Yeah, exactly.
3. I'm gonna go just slightly against the grain here. I'm gonna put Cincinnati at 3.
Okay.
The only reason is because Cleveland at 2. I think that since Cleveland's defense is just that much better, and Joe Burrow is obviously, no one's gonna argue, he's a better quarterback than Watson. But I think Watson, by the end of the year, is a top 12 quarterback, and with how deep and talented the team is, I think it's enough to get them the 2nd seed. He doesn't need to be a top 8 quarterback. At top 12. Obviously, with the money he's making, you like to be a top 5, top 6 quarterback, but I don't think that's a reality here anymore.
Right.
So top 12, I think they're 2nd, and then number 1 is Baltimore. Lamar Jackson proved last year. The big question mark with Lamar was, could he become more of a passing quarterback?
Right.
And I think we saw last year, when he used to scramble just to scramble, to run. Now he runs to throw,
Right.
and I think that's a huge step in his
Right.
growth as a player. So-
Maturation.
yeah, maturation is the right I was looking for. Thank you. I think that they're 1.
They were
So-
number 1 last year, right? In the NFC or AFC conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, it's easy for me, folks. Pittsburgh is number 4, but they're going to be a 9-win team, and they're going to be in the thick of it just because of Tomlin and so forth. The number 3, I'm just going to say Cleveland, but I'm just going to pencil that in. I'm not going to put that in ink or whatever.
Yeah, none of us, I mean, I'm not that...
That's a very tough division.
Yeah.
It is.
See, here's the thing. With Cleveland, if Deshaun Watson is half of what he was,
It's enough.
they could win that division. I mean, that's how good, scary good Cleveland is. When you evaluate teams, when you're making your bets on whatever, bet.com or whatever the hell you bet on,
Whatever state you're in, yeah.
so you have to look at how hard is it for that team to actually win games.
Yeah.
Cleveland doesn't struggle to win games, okay? If they have Deshaun Watson, half of it, he's that special for that team. Cleveland could be a dark horse. That's how good they are.
Yeah.
They can be.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say the inverse for Cincinnati. Joe Burrow has to play that way for Cincinnati
In
to
order
be good.
for them to
Yeah.
be, yeah.
See, that's where you when you start breaking down some of these games and some of these teams, okay, if they win 11 games, how hard was it for them to win those 11 games? And they have to go on the road, they have to do this, they have to do that. Burrow has to throw for 300
50
yards.
times, yeah,
You see
right.
what I'm saying? So it's like, when you start breaking down games and look at the film on some of these teams, it's like, how hard is it for them to actually get those wins?
Right.
They're good. I'm not taking nothing away from Cincinnati, but how much they have to earn it, and Burrow has to be on the field for them to win those games, and Cleveland proved that
You know, you need Deshaun Watson.
they don't have to have Deshaun Watson to win the games.
And
It's
your
like,
boy, Joe Flacco.
so then it's like, well, Carl, why the hell do you have them number 3? That's because it's like Cincinnati has that little special touch to them. You know what I'm saying? They win a little bit more dynamically than Cleveland. That's the only reason why I have them penciled at number 2. And obviously with Baltimore, you know, they're a class above everybody. But Lamar Jackson just he has to find that magic wand in the playoffs.
He's gotta beat, right.
Forget the regular season. It's the playoffs for Baltimore. I don't care what their seed is. He has to believe that he can do it. He has to find his Patrick Mahomes. He has to find his Joe Burrow in him where it's like, all right, I'm taking this team on my back regardless of whatever the hell they do. Until he finds that, they're always a wild card. So that's just my take on it.
I like it.
And fourth, we all agree, Steelers. It's going to be number 4. Even with Mike Tomlin as a head coach, he's been a great head coach over the years. I mean, no doubt in my mind that he's the greatest head coach of all time. No doubt there. But they're still a number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I really think so.
Okay.
I give that man respect. I'm not going to lie. Even the shittiest team, he still managed to get in the mix.
That's true. They're always 500.
Right, they're
They're always in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know,
they have no reason to be, right?
Right.
But the division is just too good. They're not 4th
Exactly.
because they suck.
Exactly.
They're 4th because of the division that they're in.
Right.
If they're in the NFC South, they're probably
They'll
second.
go be going on top, no matter
Right.
what.
So, okay.
But and like this one, this is really a tough one. And for this one, I'm having them fighting for the number 2 spot. I'm having Cleveland at number 3. Just because I'm questioning about Deshaun Watson.
We all have that
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
Cleveland has the best freaking defense. No doubt in my mind. Even defensive line is freaking nasty right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They got weapons, obviously. Nick Chubb in the backfield. And now they just got, what's his name? Jerry Jeudy from the Broncos.
Right.
So,
Forgot about that.
yeah, so I think whatever Deshaun Watson plays as, even if he was in the playoffs as a Houston Texan, or if he's still as he is right now.
Yeah, that makes a good point. How far do they go with
Right.
it based on okay.
Right. And number 2, I'm having Bengals at number 2. Just because of Joe Burrow. He's, like you said, at least top 5, top 10 quarterback in the league. You know, he can make things. How do I say about Joe Burrow? He's very like, I don't know how to say it, especially with connection with him and Jamar Chase. You know,
He's very unique.
very unique quarterback, and with him in it, and defensively for the Bengals, I think that Bengals are gonna be number 2, and then Ravens obviously with Derrick Henry. They're nasty on offense now.
Yeah,
Now-
Harbaugh a lot of credit.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and now they have Derrick Henry. Now their running game is, oh my God, it's so nasty
I
now.
mean, just like McClain said, I mean, they don't have to rely on Derrick Henry, and
Right.
Derrick Henry can get a break
Right,
within
but
the
it's
game.
made it so much not easy for any opponent to face now.
And
Yeah,
just like I
it's-
said, I
it's
mean,
nasty.
when you look at this division, when you look at the entire league,
Right.
and when you start trying to segregate which teams are what and how they win, that's how you look at it. It's like the ease of playing the game. Once you start realizing, okay, this team can consistently do this, then that's who you put your money on, you know. So, and I'm not going to get into deep talk about that. So, do we want to talk about who's going to go to the Super Bowl, or we
I
want
don't
to
know
say
if
that
we want
for
to go there yet.
All right.
I had a couple questions pop into my head as we're
Go
sitting
for it.
here thinking, and you guys can leave this in the comment section below. 2 teams specifically, we're looking at the top of the AFC here, and teams that I'll start with the Ravens. Actually, one, and those are my 2 questions. What is a successful season look like for the Ravens?
Well, I would say they have to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Do they have to win it?
They have to win it.
So Super Bowl.
I think, just considering the history, just considering everything,
Where they're at and how. Okay, Super
they
Bowl
have
victory.
to at least get there.
And
Yeah.
at least get there. So if they get there and don't win, is it still a successful? Is it still a
Depends on
successful
how they
season?
lose the Super Bowl if they went there.
If
and
they
lost.
get to that stage.
Okay, I
I agree.
I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, the Chiefs have been dominant.
right.
So anything to get past them
Exactly.
is like, Thank God.
Right,
Yeah,
but also,
right.
you make a good point because it's hard because there's no, like, for example, if you go play the Chiefs, right, and you lose, and you're Lamar Jackson, and you lose 30-10, you're pissed off. You got murdered. You sucked.
Yeah.
But you go into Kansas City and you lose 40-38. You got to go home knowing you're good with that. There's no shame in losing to Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
You know what? If I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm thinking I'm the second best quarterback. Obviously, when you're that person, you think you're the best quarterback in the league. But us sitting here, Lamar Jackson thinking I'm the second best quarterback in the league. If I'm going up against the Bills, you want to outplay your counterpart. I want to outplay Josh Allen. But if you sit there and you say to yourself, well, there's no shame in losing to Patrick Mahomes. That's so. But I think making it to Super Bowl, only because I think the Ravens are a more complete team than the Chiefs.
Exactly.
So I would say, yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like you have to beat the game busters, but then here's the caveat to it. Well, if you go out there and knock the Chiefs out, why can't
you win the whole thing? Right, yeah.
Considering they've won,
Well, so it's a huge mentality thing of,
but
we just beat this team.
It's going to be such a letdown because you feel like you won the
You already
Super
won
Bowl.
the Super Bowl when you really didn't.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Because I think that's what happened to Cincinnati. When they knocked out the Chiefs, it was like, yeah, we got their ass.
Yeah.
And then they went into the next game in the Super Bowl, even though that was close.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was still a letdown.
Right.
That's why I keep going back to this point. Look at how
they won the
win.
games. Right, yep, exactly. So what do you think? You that make
I
Super
agree.
Bowl?
It has to be Super Bowl.
Okay.
If they don't make the playoffs this year,
that's a huge,
hell
there's
is
no
breaking
question.
loose. Yeah.
There's no question. You got to break the bank. Right.
Yeah, but they have to make the Super Bowl. Winning, it depends on, of course, how you lose or whatever, but they have to make the Super Bowl to be a successful season.
Okay, so my second question is the same question, different team. What does a successful season look like for the New York Jets?
They have to win the Super Bowl.
You think so?
They have to. I mean, that's the only success that they have.
I think their biggest success. I'm sorry, you go.
No, and just to finish off the point, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah, why?
Because Aaron Rodgers won because it's like he has that hanging over his head. You only have one. Such and such has
so
3 or
many
4.
guys. If you get multiple Super Bowls, it puts you into another stratosphere.
Yeah, because they can't question you.
Right.
You've done it more than once, and then he'll be the second quarterback to win in the opposite league.
Right.
The opposite conference.
Yeah.
So to have history like that,
Right.
I mean, hell, you go to a party or whatever. Well, Eli Manning has 2. What about you?
Right, and
You see
but
what I'm saying?
now see Eli Manning, Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback all
Obviously,
time than
but
Eli Manning.
He still got bragging rights.
But you want to bring up, you could argue Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers, who's a better all-time quarterback?
Right.
I think because Peyton Manning has 2 Super Bowls, he's a better all-time quarterback.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers gets that second Super Bowl, I think it puts him above Manning, just because the rest of the stuff is better than, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I wouldn't. So, Rodgers said he had a 2-year plan. In last year, we'll move it. It doesn't really count. Let's be real.
That's a freak injury. Yeah.
I think that an AFC Championship game. Well, no, I would say it's hard because it goes back to, again, if you're Aaron Rodgers, I think has a different mentality than everybody else.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers wanted to play last year with a torn Achilles.
Right.
Right.
Yep, that's right.
So he's going in thinking I'm better than Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Right, but if you're going into Buffalo, if you're going into Baltimore, you got to know, all right, I got to beat these guys.
Right.
There's no shame in saying, well, you lost to the Chiefs. But I think that in his head, he thinks he's better than Patrick Mahomes. But if it goes down to making it to the Super Bowl, if you can make it that far, why can't you win the damn thing?
Exactly.
But I think
Especially if you're knocking out the Chiefs.
But I think it's a 2-year plan for the Jets. So I think making it to an AFC Championship game would be a successful season. You're looking at, when's the last time they made the playoffs? 2010.
Yeah, I was about
They
to
have
say,
been awful.
50
So
years ago.
for Jets fans and an organization, making it and winning a couple playoff games, or getting a bye week and winning is a success because it's a
I
two-year
think so
plan.
too.
Yeah.
But again, those are still lofty
But-
expectations.
but
Those
of
are my
course-
couple questions.
But of course, you talk about Rodgers, then you talk about the New York Jets. I think for the New York Jets, just getting in the damn playoffs
Is a win.
That's
I
what I'm
think it's a
saying.
win. But
Oh
for
my
Robert
God.
Saleh and Rodgers, because Robert Saleh has been to a Super Bowl, he has had success
we
with San
didn't
Francisco.
bring Aaron Rodgers here to get to the playoffs. That should be guaranteed.
He brought us
We
here to
wanna
get to
go
the dance. We want to get to the damn thing, and then we want to win the damn thing.
Exactly.
We got you the pieces. Go out and do it.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the different expectation.
Right.
So, with all that being said, we just covered all of the divisions.
Long-winded. Ooh, I apologize.
Long-winded.
If you can stick with us, we appreciate it.
And I have one history segment to come, and I'll have the guys chime in after this break.
There's no higher feeling in sports than right now than winning the Super Bowl.
We knew that we were better than them.
Offense, defense, and special teams were all ranked in the top 5.
Everybody knew the Washington Redskins were the premier team.
For 60 minutes, this team is going to compete and get after you.
Best team in NFL history, bar none.
We're back. I have a historical segment to talk, and it's going to be like every program. I'm going to go ahead and take something through history in sports that you may have heard, you may not have heard. I'm going to talk about the 91 Redskins. To me, that was like one of the all-time greatest teams, wire to wire, of all time. I know I hate the Redskins, I hate Washington, I hate the Commanders, blah, blah, blah. But from watching through the season, wire to wire, all 3 levels, that was one of the best teams I ever seen. They could have easily went 16-0 and so forth. So now, history-wise, why are we talking about the 91 Skins? I'm going to tell you why. Because after that season, their superstar quarterback, Mark Rippon, he held out. Okay? And there was a deal that was brought by Dan Reeves to Joe Gibbs to trade Elway for Mark Rippon. And here's the caveat. They was going to give Washington 2 first-round picks along with Elway.
Oh.
Yeah, did anybody know that?
No, I never know that.
Why would you turn that down?
I was gonna say same
Wait a
thing.
deal. What?
Is
That's
Joe
a
Gibbs
freaking
a different
steal.
Joe Gibbs, or the same Joe Gibbs who's involved with NASCAR?
He is the same Joe Gibbs that was involved with NASCAR.
God,
Because
a lot of money.
that's why he left Washington.
He's
to
still
be
involved in NASCAR. It's still Joe Gibbs racing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because that was his passion. So anyway, you just heard it. Joe Gibbs actually turned down the trade from Dan Reeves. How much different Washington? Look at the arc that happened after Washington won that Super Bowl. Dallas, his team, go ahead and say it.
Fuck Dallas.
Dallas won the next couple of Super Bowls.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, and they had a dynasty. But think about this. If John Elway would have went to Washington, how much different
Right.
would
How are we
Denver
looking at it? Right.
would have been, how much different Washington would have been, and then would Joe Gibbs have actually stayed? Because after that 92 season, he left and Richie Pettibone took over the team. And they still had that stellar defense, but their offense was trash. And then he got fired after 1 year, and Norv Turner comes in. So, where is the history with this trade? Why did Dan Reeves offer Joe Gibbs this
Why
trade?
is he giving up John Elway with 2 first-round picks?
They could not get along.
Oh.
Because think about it. Denver went to several Super Bowls and didn't win a single one. They went to at least 3 that I can remember in the 80s that John Elway and the Broncos lost. They lost to San Francisco.
Yep.
They lost to Washington.
Yep.
They lost to the Giants.
Oh, yeah.
So Dan Reeves had enough. He thought Elway was too big. He thought that they would never get over this hump with Elway. He didn't like his style. He wanted a more stable quarterback, which is why he wanted Mark Rippon, because he wanted a statuesque quarterback that would run the offense. Because if you notice, when Dan Reeves went to Atlanta after he got fired from Denver. And that's part of the reason why he got fired from Denver. And Shanahan took over, and guess what happened? They won 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
So he took Chris Chandler, who's a similar quarterback to Mark Rippon, and they went to a Super Bowl, which they ironically lost to guess who?
Denver.
So it's funny how history kind of ties everything together, but how much different that would have been had Elway went to
I
Washington.
was going to say the other way around, yeah.
So what do you guys think about that?
It's another one of those interesting what would it have hypotheticals, just
That's
like Chris
mind-blowing
Paul
to
to the
me.
Lakers in 2011. What did the Lakers look like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do the Redskins look like? What does Denver look like? And
that's multiple teams that you're affecting. It's
Mhm.
like
Right,
it's
it's
not
not
just
just
those
one.
teams.
Right,
That's
it's the
involved.
whole league.
The
you're
whole
looking at.
league.
When you say Dan Reeves went to Atlanta, when did Dan Reeves go to Atlanta?
He went to Atlanta, I want to say it was a couple of years after he got fired from Denver, which was probably 94-ish.
Okay, so it wasn't far.
Right.
Because you want to look at similarities in terms of quarterbacks. Brett Favre was a very similar to John Elway.
Exactly.
Tough as nails, did whatever it
But
could
that
have
was
been.
under Glanville. Glanville
Yeah.
was the one that got rid of Favre.
But also, looking back now, you never would hear about this.
Yeah.
You never want to hear like people wanted Elway out of Denver. Now, isn't he like the chairman or something, the CEO?
Yeah.
And he's a Denver legend. And
Well, you just brought up another point. How would the people of Denver and
making that because did the fans want him gone, or was it just one guy having,
it was just one guy and
having an issue with? Right.
But he had complete control of the team.
Yeah, which
So you kind of think that, all right, even though management would have been like, why are you getting rid of our
it didn't matter what
players?
management thought. It was a Vince McMahon situation.
Exactly. So
You're fired.
And think about how the Denver fans would have reacted to
boy.
see that trade. Oh man, they would have been burning down every mountaintop in Denver. And Elway got traded to Washington, and Washington fans, they were intolerable back then. But good God,
And
I would have had to leave the D.C. area a lot earlier,
You
so
know
it would have affected my life a whole lot differently.
And you know what was wild about that? It was one of those. It would have been one of those situations where typically when you see a player leave, it's the player's choice. He either wants to be traded, he wants to sign somewhere else. So the fans are all mad at the player.
Mm-hmm.
Very seldomly do you see a fan base super mad at a team. So that would have been interesting because it wouldn't have been burn Elway stuff. It would have been, what do you burn in that situation? Bronco stuff? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It would have been interesting. Just to see
it would have been on Reeves. I mean, imagine him
people
walking
banging
out
his
there
door, throwing eggs
Yeah.
or whatever. Especially back in the '90s, they would have done that.
And what's ironic about this whole deal, to put a bow on this, think about when Reeves got fired from the Broncos. I mean, not the Broncos, but from the Falcons. He had Michael Vick as his quarterback, similar to
He doesn't
Elway.
like mobile quarterbacks. Is
But
what we're saying.
he was in love with Michael Vick because he was the one that drafted him.
That doesn't
Go
make any
figure.
sense.
Go
That-
figure.
That makes no
I
sense.
just think it was just an ego clash.
Yeah, it could
More
be.
so
Right.
than
We don't know
anything.
what's going on behind closed doors.
And Dan Reeves unfortunately passed away a few years ago, so we would never get his side of the story. And I'm sure there's some interview out there with him talking about it or something.
Dig the internet for us because we don't have the time. We're busy.
Yeah. So that's it for this week, folks. We'll see you on the next go around, and enjoy Outcoach Sports. Follow everything. Follow his channel.
Double
Until
up.
next time. Peace.
Thank you.
Deuces.